All right, so you wanted to learn about Neville Goddard and the
Yeah.
law of assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did a deep dive into his work based on what you sent over, and
Okay.
oh my gosh, I am still wrapping my head around some of this stuff.
It's pretty wild stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
We're working with excerpts from this video
Right.
that breaks down his teachings,
Okay.
and it really gets you to step back and think, like, how much power our imagination really has
Yeah.
over reality.
Well, and I think what's so interesting about Goddard is that he really believes that everything we experience,
Yeah.
it originates in the mind.
Hmm.
He doesn't just say imagination is powerful. He argues that it's the source of reality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not just talking about, like, daydreaming here. This
I
is
had
like
no-
big.
yeah.
It's like
Serious.
he's saying that there is no external force,
Right.
no destiny written in stone. It all stems
Right.
from our own awareness and the assumptions we make and even the feelings we dwell on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to take in.
It is.
So when you-
It's a pretty radical idea,
Yeah.
for sure, but it's also a very
Yeah.
empowering message, right?
Yeah.
Because what he's saying is,
Yeah.
you're not stuck.
Yeah.
The potential for change isn't out there somewhere.
Hmm.
It's within you.
Right.
But he doesn't stop there.
Right.
He goes on to explain how imagination shapes reality.
Okay.
And that's where things get really interesting.
So from what I gathered, it's not as simple as just like
Right.
thinking positive thoughts or,
Not at all.
you know, like
No.
putting out good vibes.
He talks a lot about feeling the
Yeah.
desired state.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
about embodying that feeling
Okay.
of what you want to experience.
So feeling is key for him.
Feeling is essential, yeah, because he describes consciousness as a spectrum
Okay.
with thoughts on one end and the physical world on the other.
Mhm.
And feeling is what moves us along that spectrum.
Oh.
It's the energy that gives our thoughts substance
Hmm.
and brings them into being.
So if you're just thinking about something, you're still way over here
Yeah.
in the thought realm.
We're just in the realm of possibility.
But when you add the feeling, the emotion of it,
Yes.
that's when you start to shift closer to actually experiencing it.
When you start to manifest it.
Okay.
And that's where most people, I think, stumble because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really easy to get caught up in the external world.
Right. Like if I'm not seeing the proof out in the world, then
Exactly.
it's not working.
That's right.
But he cautions against that.
He does, yeah. And I think it's really interesting that he
Yeah.
anticipates that,
Yeah.
that trap that we all fall into.
Yeah.
He uses this analogy of
Okay.
the outer world being a shadow,
Okay.
a reflection of our inner state.
Mm.
It's like looking in a mirror
Okay.
and expecting to see a new hairstyle
Yeah.
before you've even gone to the salon,
Okay.
right? Like the change has to happen
Mm-hmm.
internally first.
This makes me think about how impatient we are in today's day and age. Like
Absolutely.
we want instant results, yeah. And he's all about patience and trusting the process.
Trusting the process, yeah, like planting a seed.
Yeah.
You can't dig it up every day to see if it's sprouted.
Exactly.
You have to trust that it's doing its thing underground,
So it's like we might not be aware of it,
right?
but this law of assumption, this power of imagination and
Yeah.
feeling is always operating.
That's always at work.
That's kind of daunting.
It is. It
And
is.
that's-
When you think about
That
it.
is, we're always imagining
Yeah.
whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
So Goddard's point is, why not be deliberate about it?
Right.
Why not
Mm,
direct our assumptions towards what we truly desire?
yeah. And this is where.
And this is where mental discipline comes in.
Exactly. And this is where our self-talk becomes so important.
Right.
Are we
affirming lack or
affirming lack or
yeah.
abundance? Are we focusing on what we don't have or what
Right.
we do want to have?
So we might think we're just complaining or venting,
Yeah.
but according to him,
According to Goddard, we're actually feeding those negative states
wow.
and making them more likely to manifest.
So it's really about
Awareness.
it's about awareness.
Yes, if we can just be aware.
If we can just become aware of those thoughts
Yeah.
and those feelings
Mhm.
and how they're actually influencing our reality,
Right.
then we can start to make more conscious choices.
Okay, so this is making me really reevaluate my whole internal dialogue. But to kind of play devil's advocate here for
Yeah.
a second,
Oh.
doesn't this sound a lot like
Uh-huh.
just positive thinking? Right. That's a great question,
Yeah.
and it's one that I wrestled with too.
Yeah.
I think the key difference
Okay.
lies in the depth and the nuance
Okay.
of Goddard's teachings. Positive thinking often focuses on
Yeah.
affirmations and
Yeah.
trying to force a
Yeah.
positive outlook.
Yeah.
Goddard goes much deeper.
Okay.
He explores the nature of consciousness itself, the I am presence that underlies all experience.
So it's more than just slapping on a happy face.
It's not about just slapping on a happy face.
And hoping for the best.
It's about understanding that our feelings are creative, that they're a force that shapes our experience. And by consciously choosing the feelings we dwell on, we can influence the direction of our lives.
This brings us to another key concept that he talks about: states.
Yes.
He talks about assuming a state as if it's something
more than just a fleeting emotion.
More than just a passing feeling,
So what is the...
It's a deeper level of being. It's an embodiment of a particular quality or attribute.
Like confidence.
Like confidence, peace, joy, abundance.
So it's not just about feeling happy for a moment. It's about like cultivating a deeper...
It's about cultivating a deeper sense of joy.
That permeates you.
That permeates your whole being.
The whole being,
Yeah, and that's where the power lies. Because when we assume a state, we're not just changing our emotional landscape.
Right.
We're actually shifting our entire reality.
So how does that work?
That's a great question.
How does assuming a state lead to tangible change?
Yeah, how does assuming a state lead to that tangible change? Well, I think this is where that concept of feeling is the secret comes back into play.
Remember, Goddard believed that feeling is the bridge between the inner world of imagination and the outer world of form.
So the feeling acts as a magnet drawing to us.
Like
the experiences that match our inner state.
That's a great way to put it. When we assume a state, we're essentially aligning our inner world with a particular frequency. And because we start to attract experiences that vibrate on that same frequency.
So if I'm constantly feeling stressed and anxious.
If you're constantly feeling stressed and anxious,
I'm going to keep attracting.
You're going to keep attracting.
More stressful situations.
But
if I can cultivate a state of peace, calm,
then you're going to see more peaceful experiences reflected back to you. It's not about denying those negative emotions. It's about understanding that they have a creative power. And by consciously choosing the states we embody, we can influence the direction of our lives.
This is starting to make a lot more sense to me now.
Good.
But it's also raising
a whole bunch of new questions. Like he talks about this idea of revision. Like actually going back and reimagining past events.
How
does that fit into this whole
that's a great
picture of manifestation?
That's a great lead into our next point. Revision is one of the most intriguing and potentially challenging aspects of Goddard's teachings. It really makes you rethink the nature of time and reality. So
we're definitely pushing the boundaries here of what I thought was possible.
We are.
All right, well, let's take a deeper look at revision. And how it connects
Let's do it.
to this whole idea of states and manifestation.
So we're talking about this concept of revision. And honestly, this is where I start to get a little tripped up. I mean, are we talking about actually like changing the past? Isn't that impossible?
Well, and this is where Goddard really challenges our typical linear view of time. He's not saying that we can literally alter historical events. It's more about recognizing that the past only exists in our minds as memory, as impressions. And those impressions aren't fixed.
So we're not talking about time travel or anything like that. It's more about revising our perception.
It's about revising our perception of the past. The way we remember it, the feelings we associate with it.
But how does that actually work? How can changing a memory have any...
Well, think about it this way. Our past experiences, even seemingly insignificant ones, shape our beliefs and assumptions about ourselves and the world.
We carry those.
And those beliefs, in turn...
Past experiences with us.
Influence our thoughts, our feelings, our actions. which ultimately create our present reality.
Consciously or unconsciously.
Right, exactly.
They become part of our story.
They become part of our story, our lens for viewing the world.
And those stories.
And those stories, those lenses.
Their lenses can be incredibly limiting.
Can be incredibly limiting, yeah.
Okay.
You know, let's say you had a childhood experience where you were publicly ridiculed for something.
Okay.
That experience might leave you with a deep-seated belief that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy of love or success.
And that belief, even if it's like subconscious, even if it's subconscious,
is going to color how you show up.
Color how you show up in the world.
In the world, yeah.
You might avoid taking risks.
Right.
You might sabotage yourself when things are going well.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
It is. It is. Yeah. But with revision, Goddard suggests that we can reclaim our power.
Okay.
We can go back to that memory and imagine it unfolding differently with a different outcome.
Okay, so I can go back to...
And here's the crucial part.
Yeah.
We don't just visualize it.
Okay.
We actually feel the positive emotions we would have felt in that revised scenario.
So if I go back to that childhood memory of being ridiculed.
Exactly.
I can imagine myself.
You can imagine yourself handling it.
Handling it with grace and confidence.
With grace and confidence.
And maybe even turning the situation around.
Maybe even turning the situation around to your advantage.
To my advantage, yeah.
And as you're imagining this revised version...
And as I'm imagining this revised version...
You're really feeling those emotions. I'm really feeling those emotions. Empowerment. The self-acceptance.
Self-acceptance, yeah.
It's about replacing those old limiting feelings with new empowering ones.
But how does that change my present reality?
Right.
The event already happened.
That's a great question, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Goddard believed that consciousness isn't bound by time and space in the way that we typically perceive them.
Okay.
He argued that all moments exist simultaneously, like a film strip, where each frame is always present.
So he's saying that the past, present, and future are all happening.
That's the idea.
At the same time.
The past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously.
So by revising a past event?
And through our imagination and feeling, we have the power to select which frame we're experiencing.
I'm not literally changing what happened.
Right.
But you're changing...
which frame I'm focused on.
You're shifting your awareness to a new version of the story.
Okay.
One that feels more empowering and supportive of the reality you want to create.
It's like I'm rerouting neural pathways in my brain, replacing those old negative associations.
And as you consistently dwell in this revised version, feeling those positive emotions, you start to weaken the hold of that old limiting story.
It's really empowering.
It is.
It means we have more control.
It means we have much more control than we often realize.
Like over our lives.
Than we often realize. But I have to admit, this whole concept of revision still feels a little...
I get that.
It's a big idea.
I mean, how do we know if it's actually working?
Well, Goddard addresses that directly.
Okay.
He emphasizes that the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. The true test of revision is whether it changes your feelings and beliefs in the present.
So if I'm feeling less anxious or more confident in situations.
If you're feeling less anxious, more confident.
That used to trigger me.
More joyful, more peaceful.
That's a sign that the revision is taking hold.
That's a sign that it's working.
Okay.
Remember, our feelings are the barometer of our inner state.
It's not about waiting for some external confirmation.
Exactly.
It's about noticing those internal shifts.
It's about noticing those internal shifts in our thoughts and feelings.
And it's important to remember.
It's a practice.
It's a practice.
Not a one-time fix.
Right.
Just like building any new skill.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Right.
It takes patience.
Yeah.
And it takes consistency.
So if we're always revising, always choosing which aspects of our experience we want to focus on.
Well, this raises the question, of whether reality is subjective.
Wouldn't that make reality seem kind of subjective?
That's a really deep philosophical question, and one that Goddard delves into quite a bit. He suggests that on one level, yes, everyone is creating their own reality, based on their individual beliefs, their assumptions and perceptions.
So it's like we're all wearing...
It's like we're all wearing different sets of glasses.
Different sets of glasses.
Yeah. Filtering reality through our unique perspectives.
But he also acknowledges that there's...
But, and this is important.
Yeah.
He also acknowledges that there is a shared reality.
The shared reality.
A collective consciousness that we're all participating in.
Okay.
He compares it to a movie screen where we're all projecting our individual images onto that same screen.
We're all contributing to this collective movie.
We're all contributing to the collective movie, but each of us has our own unique role to play.
We each have our own role.
Exactly.
And that's where the power of choice comes in.
And that's where choice comes in.
Yeah.
We have the ability to choose which aspects of that collective movie we want to focus on and which aspects we want to contribute to.
So even though we're all creating our own reality, we're not isolated.
We're not isolated.
We're all
little bubbles. And our individual choices and actions.
Right. We're interconnected and our
nipped on the collective whole.
Individual choices and actions.
Exactly. And that brings up
impact.
The ethical implications of Goddard's teachings.
Okay.
If we have the power to shape our own reality, then we also have a responsibility to use that power wisely.
So it's not just
and compassionately what we want.
It's not just about getting what we want. It's about considering.
It's about considering the impact on others and on the world around us.
Okay.
And that brings us to another key concept in Goddard's work.
Yeah.
The idea that we are all interconnected, that we're all expressions of the same divine consciousness.
Okay, so this is where things get really mystical.
That's where things get a little mystical.
Yeah.
He's talking about a higher power.
He's talking about a higher power, a universal consciousness.
A universal consciousness that connects us all.
That connects us all.
He believed that the I am presence, the source of all consciousness, resides within each of us.
So it's not just about...
And that realization, he argued,
manifesting,
has profound implications for how we relate to ourselves.
Our own desire.
To others and to the world around us.
And it's about...
So it's not just about manifesting our own desires.
Recognizing.
It's about recognizing our interconnectedness.
Our interconnectedness.
And acting from a place of love and compassion.
This is really shifting my perspective.
And that's where the true power...
on this whole idea of manifestation.
Of Goddard's teachings lies.
It's not just about...
It's not just about achieving material success or personal happiness.
It's what we want. It's about
realizing our true nature.
Becoming.
And living in alignment with that.
Who we're meant to be.
Beautifully said.
This has been a truly fascinating...
That journey of self-discovery.
Exploration.
And self-realization is at the heart of Goddard's work.
But I'm curious, what are some practical ways we can apply these teachings in...
That's a great question.
...our everyday lives?
And it's one that we'll delve into in our final segment.
Okay.
Let's explore some specific techniques and practices that can help us integrate Goddard's principles into our daily routines and create the lives we desire.
So we've covered a lot.
We have.
With Neville Goddard, from the power of imagination and feeling to like the mind-bending
concept of revision. But I'm curious, how do we
put it into practice?
Actually put all this into practice?
Yeah.
It can
understand that feeling. It can feel a little overwhelming.
A bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean his work is dense.
It is.
And it can be hard to know where to start.
It's very nuanced. So it's hard to know where to begin.
So where do we begin? What's a good entry point?
He emphasizes the importance of evening meditation.
Okay.
Taking a few moments before sleep to consciously enter the state that you want to experience.
So instead of just
drifting off with whatever thoughts are running through your head.
With whatever thoughts are running through my head, I can intentionally choose.
You can choose a feeling.
Or a state that you want to cultivate.
I want to cultivate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not about forcing anything.
Right.
It's about gently guiding your mind towards that desired state.
So if I want to experience...
He suggests imagining yourself
more abundance,
already living that reality.
I might imagine myself living
those emotions associated with it.
In my dream home, feeling
as vividly as possible.
The joy and gratitude of having financial security.
Right. So if you want to experience abundance,
or if I want to attract,
I might imagine yourself
a loving partner, I can.
Living in your dream home, feeling the joy,
myself being in it,
and gratitude of having financial security.
Be happy, fulfilling.
If you want to attract a loving partner,
relationship,
you could imagine yourself being in
feeling the warmth and
a happy, fulfilling relationship, feeling that warmth,
connection of that love,
that connection.
And the key, as always, is the feeling.
Exactly. The key is the feeling. It's not enough to just visualize it.
Not enough to just visualize.
You have to really embody the emotions. You have them feel real in your body.
I have to really embody the emotions.
Yeah.
This is reminding me of method acting.
It's like method acting.
Where
actors really immerse themselves
in
the role that they're playing.
Even
when they're off stage.
Goddard would probably agree with you there. He believed that we are all actors.
Agree.
On the stage of life.
Yes.
And the roles we play.
Believe that we're all actors on the stage of life.
Are determined by the states we embody.
So if I'm constantly playing the role of the victim.
Exactly. If you're constantly playing the role of the victim.
Powerless and helpless.
Feeling powerless and helpless, that's the reality.
That's the reality.
You're going to experience. I'm going to experience.
But if you can shift that internal state.
But if I can.
And start playing the role of the creator.
Shift my internal state and start playing the role.
Feeling empowered and capable. That's when things start to change.
Where's the creator?
That's when your external reality starts to shift.
Feeling empowered and capable.
Yes.
And
when more we practice.
When my external reality will.
Embodying those desired states.
Start to change.
The more they become our default setting.
This is making me realize.
Our natural way of being.
How much time I spend dwelling on things I don't want.
It's easy to get caught up.
Replaying.
In those negative thought patterns.
Scenarios in my head.
And to keep replaying those unwanted states.
Like I'm constantly.
But the good news is
reinforcing those.
We can break free from that
unwanted state.
We can become more conscious of our thoughts and feelings.
But the good news is,
and we can choose to focus on what we do want.
That we can break free from it.
Rather than what we don't want.
By becoming more conscious of.
It's about shifting our attention.
From our thoughts and feelings and by choosing.
From the problem to the solution.
To focus on.
From lack to abundance.
Yeah.
From fear to love.
Rather than.
And it's not always easy.
Oh, what do you do?
But it's definitely possible.
So it's about shifting our attention from the problem to the solution.
It's a practice.
From lack to abundance.
But it's a powerful one.
From fear to love.
It's encouraging to know.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
That we have the power to make that shift.
It's encouraging to know.
Yes.
That we have the power to make that shift.
And remember.
He also talks about.
It's a process.
The importance of gratitude, right?
There will be times when you fall back into those old patterns.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Not just thinking about it.
The key is to be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
To notice those patterns without judgment.
Really feeling it.
And to keep redirecting your attention in our hearts.
Towards the reality you desire.
Yeah, gratitude is a powerful tool.
Gratitude is a powerful tool, absolutely.
For a lot of
aligning ourselves with that state of having already received.
With a state of having already received.
What we desire.
What we desire.
Goddard suggests taking time each day.
So if I'm working
to give thanks for the things we want
towards a specific goal,
as if we already possess them.
Like
so if you're working towards a promotion at work,
getting a promotion,
you might express gratitude.
I might.
For that feeling of accomplishment.
Gratitude for the feeling of accomplishment.
And satisfaction.
And satisfaction. Even though I haven't.
Even though you haven't received it yet.
Received the promotion yet.
By feeling that gratitude in advance.
Yeah.
You're sending a powerful message to the universe.
Yes,
that you're ready to receive this blessing.
Pre-paving
It's a pre-paving the path.
Path making.
Yeah.
Making space for that manifestation to occur.
Space for the manifestation.
And the beautiful thing is
to occur.
Gratitude has a ripple effect.
So it's not just about
the more we practice it,
manifesting.
The more we start to notice all the good things in our lives.
Specific.
Which then amplifies that feeling of abundance and joy.
It's about cultivating
it's general.
It's about cultivating that general of gratitude and appreciation for life itself.
Gratitude.
And that shift in perspective can have a profound impact
appreciation
on our overall well-being and happiness.
To life itself.
Yeah. It has been a fascinating deep dive into Neville Goddard
and insights
and the law of assumption.
Deep dive into.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Neville Goddard.
But hopefully it's given you
and the law of assumption.
A good overview of his work.
I feel like I have
and inspired you to learn more.
Much deeper understanding of his teachings.
I would encourage everyone listening to, but I also know.
Check out his books.
There's so much more.
His lectures. There's a wealth of information out there.
To explore.
And really dive deep into these ideas.
Well, thank you.
Because they are
guiding us.
Life-changing.
Through this exploration.
It has been a true pleasure being here with you today. It's
been a truly fascinating journey.
Yeah.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
Absolutely.
And inspired you to explore the incredible power of your own imagination.
You are the creator of your reality.
Remember,
the possibility.
You are the creator of your reality.
Are truly limitless.
And the possibilities are truly limitless.
So keep exploring.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep imagining. And keep creating the life of your dreams.